They won't hear this. They'll scroll past it. They'll call it nonsense. But the 2%, they'll feel it in their soul. They'll pause, eyes wide, heart racing, like something ancient just got remembered. Because what you're about to hear isn't just information, it's activation. It's the vibration your soul has been waiting to feel again. This message will hit something buried under years of silence, distractions, and spiritual amnesia. And if you're one of the rare few who was born remembering, even when the world told you to forget, this is for you. You didn't click this by accident. You were summoned. And if you feel a pull, a chill, or that unmistakable pressure behind your eyes, that's your soul saying, it's time. Let's go deep. You've always felt like this world was slightly off, like you were dropped here with a knowing no one around you could explain. You listened to people speak, but their words didn't touch you. You watched them chase things, money, attention, power, but none of it moved you. And for the longest time, you wondered, what's wrong with me? But the truth is, nothing's wrong with you. You're just awake in a sleeping world. You're tuned to a frequency most people don't know exists. You've always sensed the undercurrent, the invisible pattern beneath the chaos, the coded language of energy, of divine timing, of messages hidden in silence. That wasn't imagination. That was memory. You remember what they forgot, that we are not bodies chasing purpose. We are souls remembering alignment. That success isn't external, it's internal congruence. That the real war isn't on land, it's in spirit. You were sent here as a key, a disruptor, a mirror, and the reason you felt misunderstood, outcasted, or too much your whole life is because your frequency threatened their comfort. Your presence triggered their illusions. Your stillness confronted their chaos. But you didn't come here to fit in. You came here to shake the room without a word, to shift atmospheres just by breathing, to awaken others by simply existing as your full self. That's why so many tried to dim your light, not because it wasn't real, but because it was too real. You reminded them of what they buried. And that's why most people will never understand you. Not because you're broken, but because you're built differently. You're encoded with remembrance, with resilience, with divine memory of who you were before the world named you. And now the veil is thinning. Now the old illusions are crumbling. Now the truth is rising in people's spirits, whether they want it to or not. And you are being called deeper, not into the world, but into yourself. You've been waiting for someone to tell you it's okay to outgrow the noise, to let go of what no longer feeds your spirit, to stop explaining your frequency to people committed to misunderstanding you. So let this be that permission. You don't have to carry what's not yours. You don't have to shrink to be palatable. You don't have to silence your insight to keep others comfortable. You were born with divine clarity, with that knowing before it happens gift. And that's not paranoia. That's discernment. That's spiritual intelligence. And the more you trust it, the more your life will align with truth. But alignment is costly. It costs illusions. It costs fake friendships. It costs outdated versions of yourself. That's why the deeper you go, the lonelier it feels. Not because you're failing, but because you're rising. Spiritually, vibrationally, eternally. And here's what most people don't get. The higher you ascend, the less you can take with you. Not everything is meant to go with you to your next realm. Not every person. Not every habit. Not every belief. Some things are assigned to your history, not your destiny. And if you try to drag them forward, you'll delay what was already prepared for you. That's why you felt resistance lately. Not because you're being punished, but because you're being prepared. This season wasn't about comfort. It was about calibration, about refining your soul to match the frequency of what's next. And if you've been losing people, feeling isolated, or going through unexplainable emotional turbulence, it's because the old has been trying to cling to you, but your spirit is too evolved to stay attached. You're in transition. You're in shedding mode. You're in the sacred space between who you were, and who you're becoming. And the old you is being buried by divine design. You were never meant to stay hidden. But to rise, you first had to heal. And healing is messy. It's lonely. It's quiet. It's not glamorous. But it's where your true power returns. Because once you heal, you stop reacting. You start observing. You stop chasing. You start attracting. You stop begging to be seen. Because now, you see yourself. And once you see yourself clearly, you stop tolerating anything that dimmed you in the past. You walk differently. You talk less. You listen more. You don't try to prove your worth, because your energy speaks before you do. And that silence, it's thunder to the spirit realm. There's a sacred force around you now, one that doesn't need validation to be effective, one that operates through frequency, not fame. And if you've been misunderstood, rejected, or walked away from, that force is why. You're cloaked in divine presence. You carry an unseen fire that scares the low vibrational. And without saying a word, your existence exposes the masks others wear. That's why they label you strange, or cold, or distant, because they don't understand what can't be explained. But the 2%, they know, they see, they feel you, because they carried the same soul signature, the same sacred code. You're not alone. You're just rare. And rare feels lonely when surrounded by replicas. But deep calls unto deep. And when you start walking in your divine frequency, you'll stop attracting noise. You'll start drawing those who feel like home, like remembering, like peace. Because your spirit is magnetic now. It doesn't chase, it draws. And those who are meant to find you will. Not because you promoted yourself, but because your energy made them remember who they are too. That's the real mission. Not to become somebody, but to unbecome everything that was never truly you. You are being reborn. And rebirth isn't just about feeling different. It's about choosing different. Different thoughts, different responses, different boundaries. It's about being so rooted in your truth that you don't flinch when the world tries to provoke your old self. You're not triggered anymore. You're trained. You're not reactive. You're reflective. Because you understand energy. And now you protect yours like gold. You no longer show up everywhere. You move with divine precision. You no longer overshare. You speak with purpose. You no longer beg to be heard. You've become the silence that teaches. And the more you walk in that truth, the more your life becomes a mirror. People will project. They'll judge. But that's not your concern. You weren't called to be liked. You were called to be light. To radiate, regardless of who shades you. To speak when spirit says speak. To move when the inner voice whispers go. Because this journey is spiritual. And spiritual obedience doesn't make sense to the logical mind. But the 2%, we get it. We live it. We've walked away from tables that fed our ego but starved our soul. We've chosen silence over crowds, depth over trends, spirit over performance. And maybe, just maybe, that's why you're here. Because something in your soul has always craved the real, the raw, the sacred. You weren't made for surface. You were made for the unseen, the mystical, the miraculous. And even when it made no sense, you still chose alignment. Even when it cost you relationships, jobs, or comfort, you still chose truth. That's not weakness. That's warrior energy, soul-level integrity. And it's rare, but it's rising. All over the world, the 2% are awakening. Quietly, powerfully, unstoppably. Not to be famous, but to be faithful. Not to impress, but to embody. Because when you embody your truth, you shift the room without speaking. You change timelines by walking in alignment. You cause ripple effects in the spiritual realm just by choosing healing over hiding. And that's why the enemy tried so hard to silence you. Not because you're weak, but because you are dangerous to the lie. Your presence is prophetic. Your energy is a warning to every false system. That's why you were attacked early, isolated early, burdened early. Because the darkness saw your light before you did. But here you are, still standing, still sensing, still remembering. And now, the time for hiding is over. The veil is gone. The sleepers are stirring. And your voice, your energy, your truth is needed more than ever. So don't shrink now. Don't water yourself down to be digestible. You weren't sent here to be understood by everyone. You were sent to be a signal, a spiritual frequency that activates the few who are ready to wake up. And if you've made it this far in the message, you're one of them. You didn't stumble here. You were summoned. And the fact that you felt this means you've been chosen, not for ease, but for impact. You're the bridge between worlds, between what is and what's possible, between logic and divinity, between fear and faith. And your very presence gives people permission to evolve, not because you force them, but because you are the evolution. You are the frequency. And that's the message. The one only the 2% will understand, not in their mind, but in their soul. Because this message isn't mine. It's yours. It's ours. It's the memory that never died, the knowing that never left. And now, it's time to rise. Quietly, boldly.